what it was. Well, after a while, we woke the Boston fish up, and we all went home. And I was feeling pretty good on account of it being such a nice night and all the stars being out and etc. And when I got home, I said, Mary, guess what happened? And she said, I can guess. And I says, Mary, I have been elected. I have been elected a Minuteman. And she says, well, go upstairs and sleep it off. And I says, sleep what off? And she says, stop talking so loud. Do you want the neighbors to wake up? And I says, who's talking loud? And she says, oh, go to bed. And I says, I'm talking in a conversational tone. And she says, well, you must be conversing with someone in Boston. And I says, oh, you mean that little blonde on Beacon Street? And Ethan, she went 1,000,000 miles up in the air. And I seen it wasn't no use to try and tell her that the reason, you see, the reason I was feeling so good was on account of having drunk a Boston swelthead to sleep without feeling any effects. And I bet the next time I get a chance, I am going to get snooted right, because a fella gets blamed just as much if he doesn't feel any effects as if he was brought home in a stupor. And I was just kidding her about the blonde on Beacon Street. Some women don't know when they're well off, Ethan. And I bet that guy from Boston's Tom Duffy, I mean his wife, wishes she was in Mary's shoes. Instead of her having married a man who can't hold no more than a quart without being brought home in a stupor. Friend Ethan. Well, Ethan, this is a funny world. And when I joined the Minutemen last month, how was I to know that they called them Minutemen because they were liable to get shot any minute? And here I am writing to you in a tent outside Boston, and any minute a cannonball is liable to knock me for a continental loop. And my house has been burned, and Mary is up in Concord with her sister, the one who married that short skate, Dumbbell Collins, the one who was owed me £2 for a year and a half. Well, Ethan, it never rains, but it pours. And you can be glad you are living in a nice quiet place in Philly. Well, the other night, I and Mary were sound asleep when I heard somebody banging at the front door, and I stuck my head out the upstairs window. And I says, who are you? And he says, I am Paul Revere. And I says, well, this is a heck of a time to be waking a peaceful man out of their bed. What do you want? And he says, the British are coming. The British are coming. And I says, oh, are they? Well, this is the 19th of April, not the 1st. And I was going to go downstairs to plank him one, but he had rode away towards Lexington before I had a chance. And as it turned out afterwards, the joke was on me, okay? Well, who is it, says Mary? Charlie Davis again? Because you might as well come back to bed if it is. And I said, no, it's some Boston smart aleck trying to be funny. And I guess they're pretty sore down there on account of what happened to their prize fish up here last month. And they're trying to get even. Do you know a Paul Revere? And she says, yes, there was a boy at school named Paul Revere who was crazy about me, and he was dark. Well, Ethan, if all the fellas she said had been crazy about her were laid end to end, they would circumnavigate the globe twice. So I says, no, he was yellow, and that had her stumped. So we went back up to sleep. Only I couldn't help half laughing over the way I had slipped it across about Paul Revere being yellow. Well, along about a.m., there was a lot of gunfire towards Lexington, and Mary grabbed me and says, what's the shooting for? And I says, probably that fellow Revere, who was so crazy about you, has got funny once too often, and that'll teach those Boston dudes a lesson. Well, Ethan, I was wrong for once. And the firing kept getting worse. And I hitched up old Bessie and drove over to Lexington. Bessie is our horse, you see. And Ethan, there was heck to pay there because British redcoats had marched up from Boston and had fired on the Lexington fellows, and Charlie Davis had been shot dead. And a lot of other fellows was wounded, and they said, you better get your wife the heck out of here, out of your house, because the gosh darn British redcoats are coming back, and they'll burn everything along the road. I guess you know what word goes there, Ethan. And I was so mad at those gosh darn British redcoats on account of shooting Charlie Davis dead that I said, give me a gun and show me the fella who done it. And they says, no, you would better get your wife to a safe place and go too. And then you can come back and the redcoats will be along this way again. Well, I drove as fast as I could back to the farm, and somebody already told Mary what had happened. And as soon as I drove into the yard, she come out with my musket and handed it to me and says, don't you worry about me, but you kill every gosh darn redcoat you can see. And I says, those gosh darn redcoats has killed Charlie Davis. And she says, I know it. And here is all the bullets I could find. Well, when I got back to Lexington, the redcoats were just coming along. And Ethan, I guess they won't forget they marched back to Boston for a little whiles. And I guess I won't either, because the gosh darn redcoats burnt down my house and barn. And Mary has gone to stay with her sister in Concord. And here I am, camping in a tent with a lot of other Minutemen on the outskirts of Boston. And there's a rumor going around the camp that tomorrow we are going to move over to Bunker Hill, which is a good name for a Boston hill, I'll say. And Ethan, if you was to have told me a month ago that I would have been fighting to get Boston away from the British, I would have planked you one, because they could have had Boston for all I cared. Well, Ethan, I must go out and drill some more now, and probably we will have to listen to some Boston Bird making a speech. They are great fellas for speeches about down with the British tyranny and give me liberty or give me death. But if you was to ask me, Ethan, I would say give me back that house and barn, what those lousy redcoats burnt. And when this excitement is all over, what I want to know is, Ethan, where do I get off at? And now on the Joe Bev Show, Brute Ballingham, Private Detective in The Excruciating Hello, Chapter 3, The Burmese Albatross.
And the tears flowed like wine. And her tears flowed like wine. She's a real sad tomato. She's a busted Valentine. 'Cause her mama done told her that a man is done unkind. Oh, hello, mulatta.
You're bright and chipper this morning, Mr. Ballingham.
Well, that's because I just cracked it.
Cracked another case, Mr. Ballingham?
No, mulatta. I just cracked this egg. Making pancakes.
Pancakes? Didn't you have enough pancakes last night, Mr. Ballingham?
Well, I never got to eat 'em, mulatta. And, well, I was on a case, and they dried out on the back of Pinky's bicycle.
Well, I'm here, Mr. Ballingham.
Good. I'll start dictating Chapter 2 of my memoirs while I make these pancakes. It was back in my halcyon days. I was set up in a little place with my partner.
It all began one day when this slick dame came to see me. As she stood before me, I looked down at her shapely legs, to her fine ankles, and her petite feet, which were caressed in a pair of stylish, open-toed pumps, her toenails a freshly painted red, as my eyes lifted up to her torso, past her long, thin neck, to her face, half obscured by her Veronica Lake-like hair, which covered not one but both eyes, making her look a lot like a blonde cocker spaniel. She sat down at the edge of the wooden chair across from my desk as I sank back into my swivel chair, making a quarter turn to face her. I smiled politely. She smiled back. She sat erect in the chair as if she half expected to stay seated for only a moment, her hands in dark gloves, clasping and unclasping the flat, dark handbag in her lap.
What can I do for you?
Are you Mr. Ballingham?
That I am, sweetheart.
My name is Latrine Cassette.
Latrine, huh? That reminds me, I gotta go to the can. If you'll excuse me a moment.
Not at all.
I'll be right back. Turn on the radio while I'm gone.
A woman that looks like a cocker spaniel, please call the police immediately. She is armed and dangerous. I repeat, she is armed and dangerous. That is all. And now back to our evening of dance music.
Well, that's a nice tune.
Yes.
What can I do for you?
It's about Thursday.
Thursday? I wasn't there, and I have witnesses to prove I wasn't there. And if I was there, well, I wasn't there on Thursday.
No, I mean my sister.
I don't know your sister, and I wasn't there on Thursday with your sister. And your sister wasn't there on Thursday, so I wasn't there with your sister on Thursday. See?
No, I mean my sister and a guy named Claude Thursday.
Oh, a guy named Claude Thursday and your sister. What about it?
Well, she ran away with him to New York. That's why I'm here. I gotta find her before my mother and father get back from Tahiti.
Will that be all, Miss Cassette?
Call me Latrine.
All right, Latrine. It's funny, I gotta go to the can again. Well, I'll see you. I'll see you at your place.
When you get out of the can, come to my apartment.
She said that she said that she didn't know anything about it, but he said that she said, and the cops were, without a doubt, gonna get her. So there I was, Mulana. After she left, I went to the can to take a shower. As soon as I got the water running, I felt a blunt instrument on the back of my neck. I woke up in what seemed like 5 seconds later, slumped over my office desk, my souvenir German Luger in my hand, still smoking, and 2 dead bodies on the floor before me. The next 8 hours was like one big headache, pounding, as if the Tycho Brahe slaughterhouse was inside my head. All I can remember is the sound of Corporal Sean Muldoon of the 13th Precinct.
We know you did it, Ballingham. You killed your partner and this Thursday on a Saturday. But we don't know why.
I didn't do it. He said, I don't know nothing about it. The police sent me home, posted a guard at my front door, and put me under house arrest. I opened the door. There I found the dark little guy with the very white teeth waiting for me. His name was Ernest J. Squingili, alias Ernie the Stoolie.
Mr. Ballingham, I am trying to recover an ornament that has been, shall we say, mislaid. I thought and hoped that you could assist me.
Uh-huh. You reek of aquavelva.
Well, you reek of bourbon and stale cigarettes.
You wouldn't happen to be looking for a white bird.
That is correct. I am looking for a white figure of an albatross on a pendant. I am prepared to pay the sum of $5,000 for its recovery, and no questions asked.
It's a very interesting brooch.
You will put your hands together, back of your neck, Mr. Ballingham.
Huh? Oh, sure.
I shall shoot you if you try to stop me, Mr. Ballingham. I must search your office.
You won't find anything but a pair of worn-out rubbers, a half a pint of bourbon, and a pack of Camels.
We shall see. Please stand up and move to the center of the room. No, the other way.
I'll take that gun, Ernie. Now get up.
I am very slow at things like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I am still prepared to pay $5,000 for the return of the brooch, Mr. Ballingham. Do you have it?
No.
If it is not here, then why did you just risk serious injury to prevent me from searching for it?
Well, I should sit around and let people come in here and stick me up.
You wish some assurance of my sincerity. A retainer, perhaps?
I might.
Say $100?
Better make it 200. Your first guess was that I had the Albatross. Now, what's your second guess?
That you know where it is, or where you can get it.
With Ernie's help, I was able to get out through the fire escape and lose the police. I drove straight to Manny's Pool Hall.
Here he is, Mr. Putskin. The guy who was talking to the dame.
Mr. Ballingham. Manny Putskin, I presume.
Would you like a game of pool?
That's okay, Manny.
After all, I am the proprietor of Manny's Pool Hall.
Say, why does your henchman have white dust all over his nose?
Wilbur here is, well, he's addicted to the pool cue resin chalk.
I was wondering why he keeps sniffing and going, and holding up his pants.
You dirty rat.
Well, now, we will begin. I distrust a man who talks too much.
Well, I like to talk.
I'll tell you right out that I am a man who likes talking to a man who likes to talk.
Well, I'm a man who likes to talk to a man who likes to talk to a man who likes to talk to a man who likes to talk.
Well, let's talk about it.
Swell. when we talk about the white bird?
You're the man for me, sir. No beating about the bush. Have you any conception of how much money can be got for that white bird?
No, tell me.
Well, sir, if I told you half, you'd call me a liar.
No, not even if I thought so. But you just tell me what it is, and I'll figure out the profits.
You mean you don't know what the bird is?
Well, I know it's an albatross, but it's not around my neck.
And Ernie here didn't tell you either.
Well, he offered me $10,000 for it.
10,000? In dollars, mind you.
I know they're both lying. When you've told me, that'll make two of us.
Mathematically correct, sir. But I don't know for certain that I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, well, think again and think fast. I can get along without you, pal.
Very good. But a glorious ivory albatross, encrusted from head to foot. Allow me to replenish your drink, sir.
Bourbon, straight up.
For 23 years, sir, I have searched for the bird, but I'm going to get it, sir. And how soon are you willing to produce the albatross?
A couple of days.
What do you say to $250,000?
Oh, well, then you're saying that the bird is worth $1 million, huh?
Why not, sir?
Yeah, why not? Pancake?
No thanks, Mr. Ballingham.
All right, well, I'm going to keep making them.
And then what happened?
Flipsy-dozy, flipsy-dozy. And then I went to see Miss Cassette. All right, Cassette, talk.
Well, where should I begin?
You came to me and asked me to have Thursday followed. I put my partner on it. He followed Thursday on a Saturday, and he was killed. You found him on a Sunday, Thursday, who was killed on Saturday. You must have told Thursday on Friday that he was being followed on Saturday.
Yes, I told him, yes. But please believe me, Brute. I wouldn't have told him if I thought that Thursday would kill your partner.
Well, my partner hadn't many brains, but he had too many years of experience as a detective to be caught like that by a man who was shadowing up a blind alley with his gun tucked away in his hip and his overcoat buttoned. And now I'm confusing myself. But he'd have gone up there with you, Angel, but he was just dumb enough for that. And then you could have stood as close to him in the dark as you liked and put a bullet through him.
Don't talk like that. Don't talk like that to me, Brute. You know I didn't know.
Stop it. Why did you shoot him?
I didn't mean to at first. I can't look at you and tell you this, Brute.
Look, you thought that Thursday would tackle him. If he got Thursday on a Saturday, then you'd be rid of him by Sunday. And if Thursday won, well, you had something on him that you could bring to the police on Sunday, or Monday if you slept in. Quite enough to be rid of him for good. Wasn't that it?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But when Thursday backed down, well, you took the gun and did the job yourself.
From the very first instant I saw you, I knew.
Well, if you get a good break, you'll be out of Rikers Island in 20 years. And you come back to me then. I hope they don't hang you for this, Precious, by that sweet little neck of yours and those cocker spaniel eyes.
You know deep down in your heart that in spite of anything that I've done, I love you, Brute.
I'm not going to play the sap for you anymore. You killed my partner, sweetheart.
Why must you do this to me, Brute?
Listen to me, Cassette. This won't do any good. You'll never understand me, but I'll try once, and then I'll give up. Now you listen, and listen hard. When a man's partner is killed, he's supposed to do something about it, and quick. And it happens that we're in the detective business, and well, when one of your organization gets killed, it's bad business to let the killer get away with it. Bad all around. Bad for every detective everywhere.
Brute, you can't. You love me.
Yeah, maybe I do, and maybe I don't. But what of it? Maybe next month I won't. Maybe the month after I will. I've been through this before.
Oh, Brute, darling, kiss me.
Sure, baby. Sure. Why not?
What are you doing, Brute? Who are you calling?
Cops, baby. The cops.
So Latrine Cassette went to prison for life?
What? No. Actually, I let her get away.
But why, Mr. Ballingham?
Well, I was in love with her.
But you're not in love with her anymore, are you?
Not in love with who, Mr. Ballingham? Latrine Cassette?
Latrine.
Ooh, pancakes!
Oh, you're making me burn that one. I gotta go to the can. Watch those pancakes, Pinky.
Say, Miss Mulata, did I ever tell you about the time that a pancake saved my life? You know, back when I was 11? You know, last year. Well, anyways, I went to the pancake house over on 42nd.
Well, he said and she said that things was kind of quiet, and if it ever got out again, boy, it'd be a terrible riot. Oh, I heard, yes, I heard, and it wasn't told to me, I only heard. What did I want? 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 What did I want?
Brute Ballingham, Private Detective in The Excruciating Hello. Chapter 3, The Burmese Albatross on The Joe Bev Show. Tune in again next time for Chapter 4. Like what you hear? Then check out Joe Bev at Amazon.com.